Good evening and welcome as we join you on a very special live that I have lined up for you today. It's a Monday and it's a bit of a different Monday. We are settling into the new normal. So I wanted to speak to somebody who is actually at the quarantine center and has been doing some remarkable work, and it has been completely appreciated by all of us for the transparency and the amount of dedication that has gone into it. So to speak to me more on this, I'm happy to have Kumudini David, who's known for her brilliant voice, but right now she's also known for some great things that she's doing. Hi.
Hi. Hello. I'm all right. Surviving, as you can see. You can see that's the center behind me.
Okay.
Not a bit. Quite a few people left today. Oh, sorry. Quite a few. The Kuliapitiya lot left today. So we have about 90 people less than we were yesterday.
All right. So 90 were sent home today.
90 went home today. That was an entire village. The female folks, the entire village were here. The males were sent to either Jaffna and Punani, from what I heard. The Kandakadu quarantine center and the Punani quarantine center.
Right. So let's go back to the very beginning. For those who are watching, I'm speaking to Kumudini David. She is currently quarantined. She was diagnosed with COVID-19. To start things off, what made you go get yourself tested?
Beg your pardon. I got a fever and body aches and a really horrible headache. And it wasn't a normal headache or the body ache, so I figured there was something fishy going on, and given that I'm a teacher, I didn't want to risk spreading it, so I tried to do the responsible thing and got myself tested, and it turned out to be positive. So, well, what to do?
At that very moment, were you scared? Because there's such a stigma attached to this thing called COVID-19. Also, the fear of being transported to a COVID center. So this is like a huge issue of fear. Were you scared at that very moment?
Well, yeah. You don't know what to expect, right? So when the PHI called, as soon as you get the diagnosis or the positive result, it's like you go into limbo. Everyone moves away from you. You feel as if you've been convicted of something. But I mean, the important thing to remember that it's not personal. I mean, yes, it's that doing it to be safe, to protect themselves, and that is actually the most responsible thing to do, to move away from a COVID patient, because it's very, very contagious. Don't take it personally, and be as responsible as possible, knowing that you're contagious. Make sure that you try to minimize contact with anyone. From that point of view, they asked me to go home. The thing is, they told me to go home using a 3-wheel or whatever. I expected to be picked up from by the PHI from the hospital itself. That wasn't what happened. I was asked to go home and wait for PHI to come. So I did go home. I took precautions to make sure that people didn't come to contact with me. But as soon as I got home, they give you 24 hours to find either a paid facility or to get into their system. You're only given 24 hours from the time of the positive result. Right? So from there, if you can't get into a paid facility, then they will come and pick you up whether you like it or not. Whether you have 24 hours to get to a paid facility. Or they will come and take you to a paid facility if you have got into it. Otherwise, they'll move you to one of theirs.
Right. Okay. So within 24 hours, you were picked up and taken in a bus, and you didn't know exactly what location you were going into.
Yeah. So I was first picked up in an ambulance. No one helps. So please don't expect that you are expected to carry your own luggage, because no one's going to touch you or any of your stuff. Right. So you have to do all the lifting yourself and moving around yourself and whatnot. So make sure that you're mobile, for God's sake. And beg your pardon. I was moved to the Lunava hospital, which is we're about to. There's a broadcast. Sorry, announcement. There you go. Beg your pardon. Right, so I'm going to keep talking. From Lunava situation was pretty bad. Good God. And then from there, we were moved here in a bus.
Okay, and how long did that process take? I'm asking this because there's so much of confusion and people are so scared, and you are being so transparent, and it's a great thing that I can ask you these.
Absolutely. I mean, the reason I decided to be transparent, Danu, is because I didn't know what the heck was going on either. And trying to find out details, I couldn't find anything out. And quite frankly, there isn't time for me to go looking. Once you have a positive result, you don't have a lot of time to get ready. So, which is why I thought, I might as well start being transparent from the beginning, so that if at least this experience will can be used by others to be prepared. So that, and what else? From Lunava we were moved here. It took at Lunava we were there for about 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
We were picked up at 7:30 and then we came straight here in a bus. The buses are prepared. They're specifically prepared to make sure there is no contact. So there's a barrier between us and the driver, so that nothing passes.
Okay.
It looked like Spider-Man had cast a web there. It's on one of my pictures. Yeah,
I did see that. So Singaling product කෙටියට කිව්වොත් පොඩ්ඩක් ඔයා මේ ටික මට සිංහලෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් කෙටියට කියන්න. එතකොට
right. සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ මේ හරි පටන් ගන්න තැන ඉඳන් දැන් PHI record positive වුණා. මේ PCR එක positive කියලා result එක ආපු ගමන් PHI එක මේ පැය 24ක් දෙනවා. එක්කෝ මේ ගෙවලා යන්න පුළුවන් quarantine center එකට යන්න, නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ system එකට මේ රැඳෙන්න කියලා. ඒත් පැය 24යි දෙන්නේ. පැය 24න් ඔකද මේ ගිහිල්ලා නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ ඇවිල්ලා ගන්නවා කොහොම හරි කරලා. ගෙදර ඉන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි. ඉතින් මේ prepare වෙලා ඉන්න. මේ එතනින් අපිව නම් ලුණාව හොස්පිටල් එකට ගෙනිලා එතනින් දැන් ගෙනිච්ච ඇම්බියුලන්ස් එක ඒකත් මේ පොඩ මේ ප්‍රදේශවල වලින් ගන්නේ. පස්සේ එතන ලුණාව හොස්පිටල් එකට ගිහිල්ලා එතනින් තමයි ඇවිල්ලා බස් එක ඇවිල්ලා මේ ලොකු ක්වොරන්ටයින් සෙන්ටර්ස් වලට අරන් යන්නේ. නිරෝධාන මන්දිස්ථාන.
දැන් මේ ක්වොරන්ටයින් සෙන්ටර් එකේ කොච්චර මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවද දැන් මේ මොහොතේ?
දැනට දැන් මේ නිරෝධාන මස්දස්සානේ මේ 300ක් තියන්න පුළුවන්. දැනට දැන් අද මේ 90ක් විතර ගියා. කොහෙද මේ කුලියපිටියේ කට්ටිය. දැන් ඉන්නේ 100 ගානක්, 150ක් විතර ඇති දැනට. ගෑනුයි ළමයිවු විතරයි. ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ පිරිමි මේ ඉස්ත්‍රී කියලා වෙන් කරන එකට මේ රැඳෙන්න ඉන්න
දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Hari, just to ask you a few things now, just speak about the situation of the toilets, bedding. how are these provided? And what did you bring
Okay.
from home? Did you bring your sheets, or do you have to bring your sheets?
Yeah, absolutely. Take your sheets. Do not expect any kind of facilities in these centers, because whatever you get will be a bonus, right? So take 2 sheets and go. Be prepared to have a bath in open toilet, open showers. Where I am, the toilets are all spotting pans, which
Right.
actually is easier to keep clean. So
Yeah,
it is
definitely.
actually a blessing in disguise because we have to do the cleaning. All the cleaning has to be done by the patients. There is no physical contact between the medical staff and the administrative staff and the patients. Right? The medical staff are behind a glass barrier, so
Okay, so when
nothing
you do,
passes through.
if there's someone
Yeah.
who is feeling very uncomfortable, how do they approach you?
Yeah, so if there is now on our side of the barrier, we have nebulizers and oxygen tank with masks. We also have the heart rate monitor and the oxygen monitor, that one, and the blood sugar monitors are on this side. So if the patients have to work together to put the equipment on ourselves and learn to figure out how to. They will talk us through it, but we have to do it on each other. So someone every day, one of the ladies will volunteer to go and help do the testing and etc. So every day they will check blood pressure, they'll check the sugar levels, they will, if you need to be nebulized, then they will prepare the medication. Insulin shots need to be given and all of that. So they will provide all of those. However, these facilities are not always well stocked with medication. So please make sure that your medicine is with you.
Right.
Don't assume that you'll be able to source them. Yeah.
One of the questions that we have got from Mahika is the fact that, are you given a choice in choosing your place? Within 24 hours, you can search for a private facility that you can go into.
Yeah.
That is like a hotel or something. That is for quarantine center hotels. If you can't find one, you will be taken by the government isolated area.
The PHI will take you to a location. Well, at Lunava, we were the new ones weren't given a choice, but some were asked whether they would like to. The ones who were staying there were asked whether they would like to move to another location, and given the conditions at the Lunava hospital, a lot of people chose to move to a new location. We didn't know what it was going to be. They just decided it's better to move anywhere. Turned out to be a lucky thing.
Let's speak about let's speak about the type of people who you have been so inspirational to. Talk about the type of people who are there. Do they know about what they have got into? Have they tell me about their lifestyles? How has it been for you?
Okay. Right. So there are the 300 ladies here. It is only I and maybe another, say, handful of other ladies who know how to do any transactions online. Most of them do not have smartphones. They have the tiny little button phones, and they're not able to do any online transactions anyway. And the biggest challenge here that I noticed was connectivity, because there is no way to get anything from outside, because the army will not accept cash from us. Nothing from the patients can go outside, because everything is considered infected, right? So either, unless it's done online, there is nothing you can, you can order stuff from Keels, which is what I did. So I used the Keels online facility and got a lot of stuff delivered here.
Right.
There were no sanitary napkins, there were no toiletries, people didn't have shampoo, soap, basic necessities were not there, purely because the people weren't prepared. Now there are quite a few here who who did not know why they were being shifted. They were told that they got the virus, but what that meant, they had no idea.
Yeah.
And some of them actually, sorry, some of them actually came here with just the clothes on their backs. They hadn't even brought their medicine. Some of them didn't even know what medicines they were taking.
Right.
It's only after they got here that they realized that they had high blood pressure and diabetes, and they were being treated. There was one lady who went into, what's it called? Her blood sugar level went over 300, and she started having a fit, and we had to. That was the emergency the first night when I got here. She started having a fit, and we didn't know what was going on. The doctors, the only thing that they could do was to monitor the heart rate and the oxygen level. Both were normal, but then she was still having a fit, so we didn't know what was going on. Thankfully, after figuring out how to put the oxygen mask on her, she did revive. And it was only in the morning that she told the doctors that she has diabetes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, how is the staff and how supportive are they?
Oh, they're lovely. They're very nice.
That's amazing. Because considering the fact, Kumudini, not everyone is who is strong enough to speak like you and, you know, request for what you want. Especially the type of people who you have out. They are very soft spoken, or they might not know what they need. And is the staff very proactive?
They are not. Okay, so I need to give you the backstory of it here. This particular facility, this is the first lot of ladies that they are supporting. Before this, it was a male-only facility. So the challenges that they had to face now are completely different than what they had to face when they had only gents here. Right? So none of the staff were prepared with, sanitary napkin issues and children issues, and so all of those were fairly new to them. And from what I heard, they've been doing staff donations to try and meet the needs of the ladies. Whatever was being asked, people were too shy or too scared to go and ask anyway. The things were quite dire when I got here, and it was then that I realized, okay, something needs to get done, and I'm just going to try and figure something out. So, let's speak about the food. I know, very rarely I wait for updates on Facebook from people, but you have become my most wanted person to read about. More than anything, I'm just so happy that even in a terrible situation, I found a reason to smile. I've always known that you are very outspoken, headstrong opinion. මගේ ෂෝ එකට ඇවිල්ලත් කියන්න ඕනේ දේවල් ඔක්කොම ඕම කියලා දැම්මා. ඔය වගේ තමයි කුමුදිනි කියන්නේ. හැබැයි this particular thing, Kumudini, I must tell you, I may have known you, but right now, more than knowing you, I respect you, which is two different type of approaches. Because in a world where other people talk, you have broken that to doing, which is amazing. Because with the restrictions that are there, let's speak about the food. I know that first day menu was amazing. I saw Sudubat, you said there's Posambola and Karavala. And Karavala. It was lovely. It's all homemade food. I think there's a set of ladies who cook every day for us, apparently. Then it's always rice and curry. They don't change from that. Occasionally, once they realize that the people have lost their sense of taste, they didn't know that because we hadn't communicated it to them. So once they realized that we had lost our sense of taste, they switched their meal and ours, and they gave us their bread and curry meal, and they took our rice meal, just so we could have a difference, and it did. The staff here has gone out of their way to try and keep the morale of the people up. There was a birthday celebration yesterday, where they got a calypso band, and they did a small show and a cutting of the cake and whatnot, which was organized by the army and the medical staff. They're doing everything that they possibly can. It's not just what is mandated. They do what they can to as humans to try and help, but they also have limits. So it's very important to note that when you're communicating with them, you need to be respectful and mindful and kind. Always kind. Kindness goes a long, long way towards helping, ease bad situations. So,
how are the beds kept close by, or do you all have to maintain space when you all are sleeping?
Yeah, usually, we do, but then there are family units and people from the same community or same villages will stay close together for comfort. But generally, as you can see, the beds are spaced out. Right?
Right.
And there are fans here. Thank God.
Yeah.
There are some facilities that don't have fans.
Oh, really? Okay, let's speak about the amazing work that you have done. You have collected funds over ₹1 million, and you have been able to support most of these people here. Not only the fact that they are going to be in quarantine centers, but their livelihoods have come to a bit of a pause.
Yeah. There are. Yes.
What was your initial thought, and how did this sort of roll out?
Well, it all started off by just speaking to them, actually. It started off by me I packed my kitchen and my toilet, basically. I moved my kitchen and my toilet. I looked like, honestly, the bags that I bought, the people here thought that I had come straight from the airport. And they thought that I had brought with me an entirely new and exotic strain of the virus, and they were trying to stay away from me. And the first night was quite chaotic. There was they didn't want us near them, like the new lot, they didn't want us near them. We got mixed communications, and there were some heated words. I ended up yelling a little bit, but then and afterwards we had to shift beds around, and there were a few teething issues that had to be sorted. But then afterwards, when I realized that there were people who were missing basic needs, and they would come and ask you very shyly if you have an extra sanitary napkin, or whether you have a spoon, or if there is something, etc. So once I realized that I was running, I had given everything that I had out, and I realized, holy cow, there's a lot more people who need help. Then I started speaking to the ladies, saying, let's collect money and see whether we can, speak to the head of the thing and figure out what we can do. That's when I found out that money cannot be sent out of the compound. So then I reached out to my friends and asked. Even I didn't realize that you can get things ordered from Keels. And actually, when I came here, I only had $2,000 in my bank account and $2,000 in my hand. So there was very limited stuff that I could buy online, but that's how it started. And then when people kept asking me if there were little things that we could order, I reached out on Facebook and said, there are needs here. If you guys can help by sending some stuff or donating or whatever, then that's how it started. From there, it snowballed into over ₹1 million in donations. Donations alone, and much more in terms of the material. The items donated were quite large. There is still quite a lot remaining in the stores. We've shifted the items stuff to the stores in Kegal Hospital, and those are packed and brought over every day for the new arrivals. And on top of that, anything else that's lacking, I still do orders from Keels for the people here and the children here.
How many kids are there, and how do they keep themselves entertained? I saw them pushing around in chairs. They seem to be having a ball.
Ah! They are having a ball. There you go. These are the kids. The little ones say hi. Hello, Kiana. Atakwananna. There you go. There. All right. So they are, well, kids are very resilient. I mean, they make chairs. Sorry, they make cars out of the chairs. They will play hide and seek. They will chase each other around. They will use whatever they have. I got with the donations that came, there were 2 boxes of books and crayons and whatnot, which they're having a ball with. They love it. The reading material, they were thrilled. There were books, English books that were brought, which the kids couldn't read, so they asked me to come, and I have done story time with them. I've sat and read stories for them. They come, and I have my laptop with me. Sorry?
Have you sung
How
for
many
them?
No. Well, I sing. I sing occasionally, but I haven't sung for them because I've been panting as well, and today's actually the first day that I'm actually able to hold a conversation without stopping to gasp for air.
In terms of medication, what do they give you? Because that's something that we're all confused about. Okay, quarantine center, is there no medication for COVID? So what happens at a quarantine center? What do you get?
There is no medication for COVID. Okay. You are treated for symptoms. That's it. So we are given, if you require nebulization, then they will provide the medication for the nebulization. If you need Panadol or Asamodagang, or if you get a stomach upset or you get loose motion, they will treat the symptoms depending on whether have not got any medications from them because I didn't need to be nebulized or etc. If it's a fever, you take 2 Panadols. Your body is aching, you take 2 Panadols and go to sleep.
Right. Okay. So when are you hoping to leave the center?
The 5th. Hopefully the 5th. But that is dependent on if there will be a vehicle or transportation. 5th, yeah.
Okay.
So 10 days, you leave on the 11th day after your PCR. So if your PCR was positive on the 25th, then you wait for 10 days from the date of the PCR and you leave on the 11th day.
Have there been patients who have got a PCR again positive after the 10th day?
No. They don't do PCRs here again for those who have done a PCR before, but they will do PCRs for the children or the first contacts. Like there are some mothers here who are here because the children are positive. And then there are some mothers here who are positive and the children aren't, but they are here because there's no one to look after them. So in a relationship like that, if you haven't had the disease, then you're tested to see whether you've got the disease, and if you haven't got the disease, then you go home. If not, you have to wait for another 10 days. Unfortunately.
Got you. Well, for those who are watching, how can they continue helping in any way possible? Is there a possibility?
Absolutely. So see, the biggest thing, I think the easiest right now is for me to order from online, and most of the donations that I got are the small ones. I mean, there are people who donated even 100 rupees, 500 rupees, whatever, it adds up. I mean, it's added up over 1 million, right? I have got a few large donations as well, but most of it came from small donations. So a lot of people helping in a small way makes a big difference. The easiest and the most efficient way is to have someone who is in the facility who can do orders, have the funds available for them where they can do it. But having said that, that's not sustainable. I mean, you have to have someone like me who is in a center who can do it. So once I go, I've been worried about that. So we've set up a system where when people come through, they are asked if there are things that they need. Then a pack is prepared for them, and then they are sent through. But having said that, you're still going to need to, if you go in, try and ask, because there are still people who will, even if asked, because it's an army guy who's asking or it's a man who's asking, if it's a female specific thing that they're ashamed of, they won't say anything. So you have to be.
We are in a country where we get sanitary napkins put in a brown paper bag. So
yes, good luck. They don't even. I mean, the stocks that have been brought, the girls are reluctant to go and ask for those, saying pads. Then
just another question. Considering the fact that we are Sri Lanka, and as someone who has worked in many situations based on the sanitary napkin issues in our country, I know that lots of areas, they still use cloth because of the expense that comes with sanitary napkins. And are these women aware about how to use it, how to dispose it? Do they have undergarments to support it? All of that comes into play.
The undergarments, I did actually have to source undergarments to some ladies and children. Some of them, it's a learning curve. Some of them come here and learn how to use sanitary napkins. So we had to be willing to talk them through how to put it on and how to use it and when to change it and all of that, and how to dispose of it, because there are no garbage bins and whatnot. You have to take it to the bin that's the barrels where they burn the stuff. So that you have to do that. People here from all walks of life.
That is true. Another question that has been coming up is the fact that if you do not do your PCR test after your 10th day, how would you know that you're actually cured from COVID?
Well, your symptoms will go down. If you are planning to not do a PCR, then for God's sake, stay at home and minimize contact, because this particular strain, everyone here has got the airborne one. Right? So it's quite virulent. Be very careful.
So that with your 10th day, on the 5th, they will not do a PCR test on you. You'll be sent home with your condition reduced and better.
Yes.
Okay.
When we will be sent home, they keep asking whether there are people who can get transportation provided for them. But the thing is, we are still contagious. Even though our symptoms are getting cured, everything that we touch is still contagious. So until we go home and we disinfect and all of that, we are contagious. So it is far better for us to wait until transport, either ambulance or one of their buses, which they keep sterile, is brought in, so that they will drop you at your MOH office or as close to the MOH office in your area.
Okay.
And then from there, you have to figure out how to get home. For me, because I live alone, it doesn't really make much of a difference. But for the others, they have to think about getting clean and disinfected before they enter the house. So things that need to be disposed of and burnt or whatever has to be done before you go in, because your people at home might, contract the disease, and then it's a whole vicious circle after that.
Exactly. And if people want to continue helping, there are ways that you can actually find ways of helping. Pass the news, pass the knowledge, so that we can all be. Kumudini, thank you so very much for your very transparent conversation with me. I'm also doing a paper article on Kumudini for those who have missed out on the process and the protocols. She's answering them in full length, I'm told. And the out on Wednesday on the Daily Mirror. You could read about it as well. Thank you so very much, and I wish and pray that you get well soon, fast, recover stronger. And after all, your voice is your biggest asset, and better not miss out on that. And we better have your.
Yes. Yeah. I need to do this. And also I will be helping. I will continue to help this facility. Plus, we'll be working with the director of the Kegal hospital. Came and met me actually, and we were talking about the needs for the hospital and the various needs with the other quarantine centers and etc. So I will keep working to help the national system because it needs it.
Yeah. We will all soon closely join you as your army to support and do what we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm telling you, I am someone who believes tremendously on public funding, because all the projects I've done for Sri Lanka Smiles is just random people who have come forward to help, not knowing who these people are, what their race is, color is, kind is, caste is. Nobody asks me. They're only in the cash. Because when you know that the money that you are giving or the product that you are giving is going to the correct source, you are ever willing to give. Because sometimes you just get so worried that the system is corrupt.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So collective.
I do have to say that once I'm still getting donations. Once I leave this facility, on the day that I'm leaving, I will be transferring the remaining funds from that donation to the Kandakadu relief effort, which Leeds is leading. So Leeds will be, at the moment they're leading the Kandakadu relief effort. I'll be joining with them for that, and Punani, from what I heard, Unawatuna, Biyagama, those are fairly again centers with dire straits. So there's a lot that needs to get done.
That is true. And I think God put you there for a reason. You have become their spokesperson, which is amazing.
I figured that God did bring me here for a reason. Yes, so all right. I am here. I am doing what I can.
Amazing. I'm seeing you in real soon. Until then, have a good one. Thank you so very much.
All right. Thank you for having me. God bless. Bye, folks.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on this conversation with Kumudini as we spoke to you live from the quarantine center. For those who are fortunate enough to save ourselves from going to the quarantine center thus far, knowing what we need to be prepared for and getting ready with it is something very vital. So while you keep yourself safe out there, also remember it's not such a scary place. We can all come out of it strong. Thank you so very much for those who joined me. Thank you for those who inquired about this live as well. I will see you soon with another episode or another conversation with someone interesting. Till then, you have yourself a good night and be safe.